Today I would like to talk about today and tomorrow in education. As a base of my presentation, I choose a report which we prepared in Brandly and also our day-to-day researches, because we are an educational company, so we like to research a lot. But starting from the very beginning, who am I? At the moment, I'm a content manager for Brandly PL. So it means that on daily basis, I work with our content. By content, we understanding question, answers, and comments that we have on our website. But I've started in Brandly being a community manager for the Spanish, or more likely to say the Latin version of our product. Before I joined Brandly, I was working as an educator. I was specialized doing educational projects for the culture events. I also work as a high school teacher, so it gives me a perspective how and what we can do in a company in terms of education. I was also teaching university students, so my perspective is even broader. And as an average startup person, I've studied history of theater, so yeah, this is who am I. Before I will talking about the future, especially for online education, I want to give you a perspective and a background of the Polish market. Because we started in Poland, we now testing a lot of things in Poland, and we have the best access and the biggest resources to do our research in Poland. So, starting. I don't know if you know, but this school year, started almost 4.5 million kids. They are divided into these school levels, so elementary school, vocation school, technical schools, high schools, and this is how we all have 4.5 million. So this is quite a big group of users that they are really interested in our product, but they are also a group of students that we are really wanted to help and make their life easier. Last year, we asked Polish parents, teachers, and students how they feel about school program and curriculum, if they are really interested in school subjects, what Polish curriculum gives them as a good start for the future and for the future career. And all of them pointed that school is a little bit outdated. So all of them, they are not motivated by what they learn at school, but they are really motivated by them interest, and also all of them, they thinking about future career, going to the good university or before to good high school. So they also told us that because of the curriculum, which is not super modern at schools, they really try to focus on giving the students good resources that they can use at home, after school, and so on and so on. And mostly all of the teachers said that they are really try to motivate students by telling them that after the school they have internet full of good resources. And sorry for this graph that this is in Polish, but this is from our report prepared for Polish market. So the second point here is that the teachers, they agree with our statement that that students need to use internet resources for their education. And this is how we also discovered that private classes and tutoring, they are still very popular in Poland. And the teachers, they likely to say to their students that that is cool and is not ashamed to using other resources for their education. But we also ask students why they like to go to have private classes or using face-to-face tutoring after they this school day, and they told us two mainly big reasons. The first one was because they are interested in a particular subject and they wanted to learn more, also to build their future career. And in this group of subjects that students really wanted to learn after school are biology and chemistry. And basically those students, they were aiming those university career as medicine or architecture or law. The other group of students that they are using after school resourcing, they are students that they have problems with grades, and they are not so fast as their colleagues at school, so they needed to have extra help and extra hand upgoing the school curriculum. So this is why they decided to use private tutoring and private classes. And in this group, the most popular subject is basically math and English. So here is a few curiosities about tutoring market in Poland. So as you can notice, almost 70% of Polish students saying that they are using somehow of the online resources or paid tutoring or private classes. Mostly they're using that in a private schools for learning foreign languages. Almost 1.5 million of Polish pay for foreign languages. In this group, the most popular are, of course, English, Spanish, French, and German. And also, as a trend, now we have Scandinavian languages that they are really popular. This makes the market for the private language schools very open and wide. So at this point in Poland, we have more than 3,000 private language schools for students. So we also wanted to know if online sources for studying, for having, I don't know, more information and so on are also popular. And then we discovered that online sources for tutoring, they are growing every single year. The most popular here, ekorepetycje.net, has over 180 subjects. So going to this site, you can find teachers almost from every single subject. So of course we have math, biology, chemistry, and English, but using this site you can also have classes from Arabic, Norwegian, or ice skating. So as you can see, students and teachers, they are willing to be in an internet and sharing their knowledge and experience and building their future based on education. But besides of paying for online resources, we ask teacher if their daily life they are willing to share some internet sources for students to make sure that they have more, better, and not so outdated information. And the big group of the teachers says, yes, of course, we are using internet as a source of good knowledge. But mostly they are saying that they're sending to their teachers video from Khan Academy, e-podręczniki. This is a Polish site where you can find all school books that they are used at schools at the moment. Matsu, which is a popular math site, and video on YouTube. To the YouTube we will come back, but this is also interesting that YouTube is considered by teacher as an educational source for learning and having good quality knowledge. The other interesting thing here is that teachers also told to the students to use streaming platform like Netflix, Showmax, or Spotify to practice their English on the TV series or podcasts, but not only English but also Spanish. So this is what was something interesting. And last but not the least, Wikipedia. It's also at the moment very reliable and credible site for teachers. So this is very interesting in our case because Wikipedia is known as a source of a common knowledge. So if for the teacher is a source also for reliable knowledge, is a good sign that after so many years Wikipedia now is promoting at schools in Poland. But also teachers, they are really concerned about the credibility of the information that you can find on the internet. And they also pointed that they really try to teach their students how to verify sources on internet. So at the first pages, they always said that TED Talks, this is a very good source, and information that you can find there is really credible. As I mentioned, Khan Academy, but not only the English version, but also the all translated local version that you can find at the moment. So we have Polish one, Spanish, and so on and so on. And also Duolingo as a very good tool for doing revises, for tests, for knowing new languages, and so on and so on. But going further, we're interested how teachers evaluate the sites that they can be really good for the students and how they can trust to the internet source, because you know they always judging book by the cover and the author, and internet we don't have covers. So we asked this question. And they told us, sorry for the Polish graph, but this is the last one in Polish. So they told us that the most credible internet sources have links to the other sources or explain from where they have these results, researches, and so on, that the students can go through and check if the information is true, if it's not fake news or something. Then very important for them are educational site with the domain that they end with .edu or .gov, because those sources are mostly related to the government part, to the publishers part, so they are still trustable. Then we have university sites and their blogs. Especially they were pointed that American universities and the British one, they very good because they have very good open source and very good knowledge base, and they are willing to share their researches for free. And at the end, sites of other teachers, like for example, fan pages, if the teacher is willing to share the knowledge through social media, blogs, WordPress sites, whatever you can find. Why I mention social media? Because to know better our users, because the teachers by us they are also considers as our big as a big part of the educational system in which we wanted to contribute. We try to listen them using social media. We were focused basically on two biggest ones, so on Facebook and Twitter. So now we know that for them, sharing their concerns, sharing their thoughts about the all changes that now we have in Poland in our educational system, talking about how they can be better qualified or how they can train their skills or approach new information, how they can discuss about their salary and work time and so on, is very important for them, and they are willing to share those community and social impact of being a teacher. And also, which is super good information for all students around Poland, teachers are really focused on their exam results. Doesn't matter if it's like after middle school exam or matura exam, they really try to hard make their students pass with the highest note. Here we have 13 top Polish fan page that they related with education. As you can see, The biggest one, Edukacja Moja Pasja, which is a site for very proactive Polish teachers, have more than 45,000 followers. And they were talking on daily basis about innovative ways of teaching, doing homework, and so on and so far. Second one is a Polish teacher union, which is now super active because all of these changes which we have in Poland. And the curiosity, we did for the very first time this social listening last year, and ZNP, so the Polish teacher union, had 50% of the followers that they have now. So they are growing and they are talking about reform on daily basis. The third one is a site which posting news from educational side, which showing how the teachers can become better teachers, how they can find better job, and so on and so on. But we also checked if the teachers are interactive in the social media, and yeah, they are. They really like to talk to each other, and they feel union as a group. So this is also very important information that teachers, they have still a mission, and they really wanted to cooperate as a group. The three biggest sites that they have the biggest number of interaction in last 30 days. They are the Polish Teacher Union fan page, the site for proactive teachers, and on the third place is a very interesting point because Justyna Sochacka is a Polish journalist working on Gazeta Wyborcza, and she's mainly focusing on educational topics, and her articles is about education, and the teachers, they are really willing to talk with her, commenting her posts, articles, and so on and so on. So yeah, the teachers, they just want to be listened. But as I mentioned, we will come back to YouTube, and now this is the part when we come back. Teachers also are following educational influencers on YouTube because they very often share this educational video from those channels with their students. Maybe the first place, which is placed by Adbuster, is a little bit surprising because this channel is not 100% educational, but the guy is showing a lot of interesting educational things in a funny way. So probably this is why he has over 1,200,000 followers. The second place, this is also a curiosity, has a Stefan, who is a brother of the Adbuster, and he's mainly focusing on physics and all these universe issues and trying to explain to the students and other people that they are interested on how modern physics works and why, for example, we are walking on the Earth and we are not flying into the moon. And the third one is a history channel, Historia bez cenzury, which telling to the students very interesting facts about our kings, our politics, battles, uprising, and so on and so on. So yeah, YouTube, it is present in education. Sometimes probably parents wouldn't want to know about that, but yeah, kids watching YouTube, and they can learn. So going so further, I would like to talk now about one of the most hottest trends in education among the world, which is peer-to-peer learning. It's a trend mentioned by the biggest players in the internet world, like Google, Microsoft, and also Facebook. So what's exactly this peer-to-peer learning means? It's a way of learning when kids cooperate to each other, sharing their knowledge, building a community, and having a social interactions in the same language and the context, which makes this learning much easier for them and much faster because using the same language, using the same context, sharing the knowledge that they have or they don't have, makes the learning faster more fun for them, and also increasing their communication skills, their socializing skills. This type of learning is also increasing their self-esteem and confidence, because who wanted to be for 5 minutes the authority in some subject? Like I remember when I was at school, I wasn't very good in physics and math, but as everybody, I needed to pass the exams. So what I did, basically, I did peer-to-peer learning, because I came to my friend from mathematics class and asked him if he can explain me those equations which I didn't get any idea of. And he said, yeah, of course, for sure. For him was like 5 minutes. He explained me that better than our teacher. It was faster. It was like during break at the school. I didn't need to pay for that. It was reachable for me, and he felt super good explaining me those things. But 2 weeks later, he came back to me and he said, okay, now you know your equation, so why this poem, which we need to read for Polish literature classes, is so complicated? I don't get it. And I said, wait, it's not so complicated. I can explain you that in 15 minutes. So this is how peer-to-peer learning works. So both of us, we had our moment of glory, but both of us, we also understand the topic, and both of us, we had a very good grade based on our shared knowledge. So now we can think that internet and online reality is a perfect place for this sharing knowledge and social interaction place, because if you can imagine those who has kids or those who finished the university a few years ago, if you needed some kind of information, first step for you was going to Google and ask. So yeah, asking the question is a first step of learning. So if you're asking the question to our colleague is super good, because we're building social interactions and sometimes relation for entire life, but we can also build a relation with our searcher. In that case, is Google, and we can learn. But if we're asking, we also wanted to have an answer, and a lot of online sources have the answers for our question, like Wikipedia, which is also an example of sharing knowledge, because the community is building this knowledge base, or Facebook groups, which they are every day become more popular for the students that they starting their school year. They have Facebook groups where they share their notes, where they share their concerns, where they talk about the teachers, and so on and so on. But we also have a lot of examples of the teachers that they are creating Facebook groups for their students, and they are present there to talk with them on daily basis, to be there for them, answer their question, or just share simple information when the next test will be, or what is for homework. And of course, a little bit outdated, but still alive in some part of internet, online discussion boards, where we also sharing the knowledge, and where we also building the big knowledge common base. So knowing all of that, which is also applying to Brainly, because Brainly works like that. We encourage students to ask their question and learn from this other students' answers. We run a few researches, and we are really big fan of doing researches, because then you can hear the real user voice. Our favorite are focus groups. So after asking parents, students, and teachers in Poland, US, Mexico, and Russia, now we know that the most engaging part and the most motivational part of using online educational sources is being in a group, as a part of community, and having this feeling that I can ask everything, someone will help me, I will learn, but then I can help to the other person explaining the thing which I learn. This is the most crucial for students, and this is how they are motivate themselves. But this is also super important for parents, because they not always have time to their kids to do with them homeworks, but they have a trustable place where they can send their kids, and they are sure that they will have the help that they are needed. And this is a picture. This is one of our favorite pictures, and this is after focus groups with Polish students here in Krakow last year. Yeah, and here is me, and the students for one of high school's school. The other research which we did was run in Brazilian and Brazilian and Russian market, and it was the research in which we wanted to know if sending regular feedback to the students will help them with their learning process. And we discovered that the kids who receive messages from us, they were learning more often, faster, and with more fun. And they were more likely sharing their experience with their friends at the schools, for example. With School of Information, University of Michigan, we ran on Polish and Indonesian market research about learning analytics, because we wanted to know how students collaborate together if they need to find a solution of the problem. So the question wasn't super easy for them. It was much more complex problem that they needed to resolve, and we observed them for 4 weeks, how they try to find a solution, what sources they are using, who they are asked for the help, how they are cooperating to each other, and so on and so on. And this has helped us to understand their motivation for learning even more. This is what can be at this place the most interesting part of our researchers, is a project which we ran with Rutgers University, and we asked them if they wanted to, with us, find a solution for personalized learning. So using machine learning, building our own algorithm, we wanted to give our users more personalized fit. So now we know that, I don't know, Katie from second grade had the biggest problem with modern history, and she's not really into Napoleon War. So we can send her more question related with her concerns, more question with a very good answer, so she can learn even better. Didn't think about that she need to search for that further and deeper in our knowledge base. But on the other hand, we have also users that they really wanted to share their knowledge with others. And we know that the John from the last class of high school is very good in math. And he really likes to share his knowledge in that subject. So we can show him more questions related to mathematics, and he is able to help even to the more colleagues and students. So this is how we understanding personalized education, but this is how we also wanted to go to the future using algorithms and machine learning and giving our users exactly the product that they really need and want. So this is how we become to Brandly. This is how we understand the future of education, and this is how we operate among the world. So at the moment we have 80 million users in 35 countries that they're using almost 12 different languages, and they provide the answers on daily basis to
It's 80, right? Like 80.
Yeah, 80.
Wow.
80.
Okay. Thank you.
And they are daily answered more than 1,000 questions. So this is like, I know that those numbers are impressive, but what is behind those numbers? This is that we provide educational help to this number of students that they are with us from Indonesia and Philippines till Mexico and Argentina. So this is really awesome, and this is why Brandly have this impact around the world. Yeah. And as Daniel mentioned before, I also wanted to show you a few cases from our countries that they have their own local version. So here we go. First we have Asia Challenge. And I wanted to ask you the question. Guess how many people live in Indonesia right now?
10 million. 10 million. I'm guessing.
Who gives more than 10 million? Yeah? 150? Who gives more?
It's more?
It's more than 150. Yeah? It's even more than 200.
It's even more than
Yeah.
200.
At the moment in Indonesia, we have 260 million people living in almost 200 islands. So imagine of this country that for us is a perfect destination for holidays, beaches, I don't know, coconut tree and so on and so on. But basically is like 260 million people living there on almost 200 islands. So they are not even on the same land.
So they should have 200 schools at least on every island, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and they are not on the one land because they have like, connection issues. It's not like I don't have tram from Bronovice to Nowa Huta, but it's like I don't have any connection from Bali to Borneo, no? And I have family there. So it's also showing what challenges we can have there, because the internet connection is also not that the internet from the cable or super very good radio internet is basically mobile access to all internet knowledge base. And the other question, so guess what is the number one of a mobile device in Indonesia? In population,
But you mean the type of the phone?
Yeah. What is the most popular type of the mobile device?
Type of the phone.
Yeah.
iPhone.
Okay. Who can mention other device? What mobile phones do you know?
Nokia 3310.
Xiaomi. Yeah, exactly. This is a BlackBerry with Opera Mini. So if you think about that, this is something that we don't use anymore in Europe. This is even what the US doesn't use anymore. And we need to be able, as a EdTech company, to provide a mobile application easy accessible to this type of devices that nobody is thinking about even. Who had BlackBerry? I had like 4 years ago. So yeah, we need to think about the optimization to unusual devices. We need to be sure that our graphic is not so big to not be able to be opened from the devices that they have very slow internet. So this is why, because of the number of users that we have in Indonesia, and because of our beliefs that education is supposed to be open and easy accessible to everyone, we also opened the co-working space for our users in Indonesia. We are cooperating with mobile supplier, and we have a real place in Jakarta that everyone can come, use laptop, use faster internet, and have an access not only to Brandly but on every educational site that they want. And the last question related to Asia Challenge: who knows who are tiger parents? Who has any idea who can be a tiger parents?
Parents of the small tiger.
This isn't some kind of idea. Anyone else?
Can I ask it on Brainly?
Of course, you can ask on Brandly, but you need to use the Indonesian version. So think about this question in Indonesian. So tiger parent is a very big trend among all Asia, not only in Indonesia. We can find them also in India. And those parents, they are the parents that they really push their kids to have better education that they had, to go the best university in that country, so in India or in Indonesia, or even go farther, so going to study in England, US, or European Union, because for Indonesia we are a dreamland where you can have an access to the best education around the world. So now we have a LATAM challenge, but before I will ask this question, I just wanted to mention what we understand by LATAM. So LATAM, they are all Spanish-speaking countries, starting from Mexico and finishing Argentina. So they are more or less 23 of them. So then you can have the scale of students there, but also the scale of the different Spanish-speaking countries that they are there, and they have different vocabulary for the subjects. But by us, LATAM is also considered and including Brazil, which is a Portuguese-speaking country, the size of the half of the continent. So yeah, this is a quite big market with a lot of students and their problems. So now we're going to the next question. Who knows what is Guatatopo? Any ideas, maybe? What is that? Any brave person who wants to share with us the knowledge of Guatopo? Sorry? Very close. It's not a fruit. This is one of the biggest national parks in Venezuela.
So probably many fruits over there.
Yeah, includes a lot of fruits. But this national park in Venezuela, close to Caracas, so basically in the seaside part of this country, because as you know, Venezuela has access to the Caribbean Sea, but also have very high mountains called Andes. So this national park, it's not the national park that we know from Europe. This is like real jungle from the movies. And in this middle of this jungle, we have one of our top users from Venezuela, who is also a teacher. And Alberto is real fan of Brandly, and with his students, which he has around 12, because this is how the school is big. With those 12 students, every single day using super old laptop, he has access to Brandly, and they learn because they don't have library there in this middle of the jungle. They don't have easy access to order books from Amazon, not only because it's the middle of jungle, but also because of the political issues that they are now in Venezuela. As you know, this is one of the most social countries around the world. But he has open access to the worldwide educational sites like Brandly, Wikipedia, Facebook groups, Khan Academy, and YouTube. And he's using that every single day to show those kids from the middle of the jungle that they can be whoever they want to be, and they can study whatever they want, and they don't need to live in a big city like Caracas, for example. The only thing that you need is having an internet connection. So this is why we wanted to share all those information with you, all those examples, because we strongly believe that modern technologies, that online education, that open access to the knowledge is the only thing that can make our life easier and can change the future for all kids around the world. So, thank you very much for listening me. If you have any question, you can ask me now.
You can ask Brandly.
Yeah, and this is one of our bits that we're using every single day at the company. So, question everything, answer everything. If we don't have an answer, we always post it on Brandly.